Okay, think about this. How many bands do you actually know that are still putting out really powerful new music after 30 years?
Right. Not just playing the hits.
Exactly. I mean, consistently releasing fresh, impactful albums. It's an incredible milestone, really. Speaks volumes about creativity, dedication.
Absolutely. Staying power.
Which brings us right to today's deep dive. We're looking at exactly that kind of achievement. Edsvuren, the brand new album from the Swedish Viking and pagan metal band Månegarm.
Yep. And this isn't just another album drop.
No, this is their 30th anniversary release, 30 years. It's huge.
Monumental, really.
So we've got reviews, we've got insights, our own notes. We're going to unpack it all. Is Edsvuren this like blazing return to their old fire, or is it more of a reflective, maybe an ember glow that still keeps things warm?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's our mission today. We want to pull out the really key nuggets from everything we've gathered just to help you get properly informed fast about this big release.
And, to really get this album, you kind of need to understand where Månegarm sits in the whole scene.
Good point.
They are, without a doubt, one of the biggest Scandinavian pagan and Viking metal bands out there. They're known for these powerful stories, Norse mythology, history.
And they bring it alive with folk instruments mixed with the metal, right?
Exactly. And crucially, they sing only in Swedish.
Yeah.
That just deepens the connection, makes it feel so authentic, so rooted.
Yeah, it adds something special.
Plus, the consistency is just remarkable. Pretty much an album every 3 years for decades. Edsvuren actually means oath-bound or sworn.
Ah, so like you're sticking to their path.
Yeah, reaffirming it.
Yeah.
And this consistency, it really stands out when you look around the genre. Månegarm is kind of like one of the last ones standing from that really ferocious scene back in the early mid-2000s.
Right, I remember that era.
A lot of the other big names. Teresa's, they've kind of ghosted. Fintroll sort of got lost in the woods, you could say. Even Thurfing and Moon Sorrow have really slowed down.
But not Månegarm.
Nope. It never stopped, never really faltered. So this 30th anniversary album, it's a statement in itself, just by existing and being strong.
Wow, that really paints a picture. A scene that's changed so much, and there's still this active, consistent force. It's not just about being around for a long time.
Not at all.
So what do you think is the secret? 30 years of putting out relevant music. How does that past shape what we hear on Edsvuren?
That's the perfect question to set the stage. If you look at their early career, say from Hevets Fargar back in 2000 up to Nattväsen in 2009, that's where they really made their mark initially.
Okay.
Back then, Månegarm was honestly among the hardest hitting of the folk metal bands. Real pioneers, blending that aggressive black metal sound with really rich folk melodies.
So proper black metal intensity.
Oh yeah, blasting intensity, but mixed with intricate violin parts, great guitar solos, and Eric Grazio's voice, that really distinctive, like gravel-throated roar. It was raw, super powerful, very atmospheric.
Okay, so that intense black metal core softened or maybe enhanced by the folk elements. But I remember reading something about a shift, a pivotal change. How does that lead to Edsvuren?
Absolutely. After Nattväsen, things started to evolve. There was a lineup change. The original violinist and bassist left. Eric Grazio, the vocalist, actually moved over to playing bass.
Oh, interesting.
And more importantly, they consciously kind of retooled their sound. By the time Legions of the North came out in 2013, they weren't really going for that pure blast beat-driven black metal fury anymore.
So what was the new direction?
It started moving towards something. Well, one review described it as more akin to Amon Amarth's mid-pace crunch.
Ah, okay. Less raw speed, more melodic power, maybe.
Exactly. That deliberate pivot. Still heavy, definitely, but with a different kind of rhythmic focus, maybe more groove. And Edsvuren really feels like the result of that whole evolution.
A culmination.
Yeah. Like that reviewer said, it's like letting the flames burn low rather than trying to rekindle the blaze, content to let the embers glow. It suggests a more mature sound, maybe less overtly aggressive, but still powerful in its own way. Finding strength differently.
A conscious evolution, then, not just repeating the formula. But, okay, for those of us who really love that heavier, super energetic Månegarm, does that blazing fire still make an appearance on Edsvuren? They haven't totally left the metal behind, have they?
Not at all. Definitely not. When the wind hits those embers just right, yeah, the fire still turns bright. There are absolutely tracks on Edsvuren that are vital, energetic, Honestly, some of the best pure metal they've done in years.
Okay, good.
They really remind you why you like these guys in the first place. Take the opener, I Skogsfrunds fam.
Right.
It hits you right away with that classic Månegarm sound, but it feels fresh. You get the sharp riffs, the harsh vocals, that sort of swinging black metal hammer feel, that driving rhythm.
Yeah.
But it's all balanced with these really lively folk sounds and some strong, clean vocals, too. It kind of packs almost everything they do well into one epic intro. Sets a really high bar.
And the lyrics, still rooted in folklore.
Oh, yeah. This one's based on a local saga about the Skogsro, this seductive forest spirit who leads people astray. And interestingly, it features vocals from Eric's daughter, Leah Grazio Lindstrom. Adds another layer.
Wow, keeping it in the family, that sounds like a really strong start. Does the album keep that energy up, or does it vary the heavier stuff?
It keeps it up, but definitely varies it. Like Edsvuren picks up the pace even more, shows a more combative side.
Okay.
It's got this fantastic long guitar solo that really stands out. And one review actually pointed out it's Amon Amarthian heft, again referencing that powerful melodic death metal feel.
Right, that mid-tempo power.
Then you've got In Blood Vittenskrans. That one's an up-tempo standout. It just crackles, It's got this surprisingly punkish drum feel in parts and lots of tremolo guitar, that fast, shimmering sound.
Drum trimming, that's unexpected.
Isn't it? And it mixes the blackened screens with really strong, clean vocals in the chorus. There's even this kind of snotty thrown in there.
Huh, really?
Yeah. Adds this raw, defiant energy. Lyrically, it's about sacrifice and martyrdom, very heroic chorus. And interestingly, the violin, it's kind of pushed into the background on this track. The raw metal takes center stage.
A snotty, ooh.
Yeah.
I like that detail. Shows they can still tap into that raw energy. What about something more expansive, epic even?
Oh, definitely. For that, you need to check out Skilled Franhugen. It's 7 minutes long, just storms forward relentlessly, so much strength, captivating energy.
Sounds intense.
It's described as a symbiosis of all Månegarm strengths. Maybe even more impressive than the opener in its scope. Around the third minute, it shifts into this beautiful, almost ballad-like part with female vocals. That's Eleanor V. DeForce. She has this great smoky alto voice.
Nice contrast.
Yeah, and then bam, it transitions back into these heavy, ominous riffs and a really powerful, fast section. It takes you on a journey.
Cool. Any other heavy highlights?
One more I'd point out is Lickjokens Fest. This one's just hard and dirty. Crashing blast beats definitely gives you those light black metal vibes.
Ah, the blast beats are still there sometimes.
Yes, but it creates this interesting mix by contrasting that intensity with melodic choirs. It's the kind of track that really shakes the dust off when you're headbanging. Pure metal power.
Okay, so the fire is definitely still there, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Those heavy tracks grab you, sure, but you mentioned almost half the album is more reflective, acoustic. Tell us about these ember glow moments, the other side of Månegarm.
Right. Let's shift gears because that's just as important to this album's identity. You've got these acoustic folk tracks, Rodens Have, Til Gudars Følge, and I Runar Orden. And let me tell you, these are not filler. They're genuinely beautiful pieces.
Okay.
Rodens Have is purely acoustic, delicate female vocals in a duet with male vocals, acoustic guitar, and this really magical sounding violin. It's like a song for dreaming, very serene.
Sounds lovely.
Then Til Gudars Følge acts as a sort of gentle transition. Still acoustic in style, but with way more power and tempo behind it, full of pathos, devotion. And the violinist, Martin Björklund, he really shines here, just weaves these rich melodies.
So using the folk instruments to create different moods.
Exactly. And I Runar Orden continues that, weaving these mystical acoustic threads, creates a really cozy feeling, like a snug blanket, as one review put it. Again, perfect for just zoning out and dreaming.
So even in the softer parts, there's still depth and variety. Do these Emberglow tracks ever blend back towards the heavier side, or are they purely acoustic zones?
Oh, they definitely blend. It's not just gentle folk songs. Take En Nighting's Dod. It's described as a strong power ballad, but it returns to that aggressive hardness.
Yeah.
The theme is betrayal, perfidy.
Okay, darker themes.
Yeah, so it sounds accordingly dark, but it also has these great choirs that build a really dense atmosphere. Plus, a beautiful guitar solo and the violin weaving through again. It shows how they mix aggression and melody, even in a ballad.
Right, not just one or the other.
And similarly, Hermit Call. It starts out like a classic, fairly simple mid-tempo stomper, but then, about 2 minutes in, it becomes really martial, builds up to this amazing finale, a real highlight.
And the violin is prominent throughout these.
Hugely prominent. It's used extensively and grandiosely all over the album, really enriches the folk side and creates these highly atmospheric moments, whether the track is heavy or quiet.
It sounds like they're really flexing all their muscles on these tracks, but as good as these mellower parts are, this brings us to that critical point, doesn't it? The balance of the album. That seems to be a recurring theme in the reviews.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is where you hit the quote-unquote problem of proportion.
Right.
Because while these acoustic and mid-paced songs are really well crafted, they add so much character. Nearly half the record lives in this space.
Almost half. Okay.
Yeah. And some critics pointed out that when you get stretches where they're kind of stacked back to back, like Rodhans have through Hermit Call, and then again near the end, the album's momentum can kind of sputter a bit.
Ah, I see. Affects the pacing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can make the listening experience feel longer, even though the album itself is only 51 minutes, which isn't excessive. It's more about maintaining that impact, especially maybe for listeners who primarily come to Månegarm for that immediate aggressive hit.
So individual tracks are strong, but the arrangement maybe softens the overall punch sometimes.
That's a good way to put it. It might leave the album feeling a little low on bite for some.
That's a really crucial point. So even if the pieces are great on their own, putting them together like that might dilute the intensity for some folks. Which leads me to ask, what actually ties all this together? The heavy stuff, the delicate folk, the mid-tempo tracks. Is there something that makes Edsvuren feel like one cohesive thing despite these shifts?
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say the vocals. The vocals are really the oxygen that keeps Edsvuren burning.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, Eric Grazio's extreme vocals are still totally commanding, right? That signature guttural power is there.
Yeah.
But his clean vocals are especially strong here. They're described as gravelly and full, and sometimes they almost sound like throat singing. Adds this really primal, ancient feel.
Oh, cool.
And the way his voice works with the guest vocalists, Eleanor Wiedfors, with her smoky alto, his daughter Leah, it's really well balanced. It adds incredible depth, emotional range.
And the choruses, you mentioned those earlier.
Yeah, the choruses are a huge unifying element. They just bloom into these layers of voices. It feels almost ritualistic sometimes or communal, like you're part of something.
Yeah.
And they're mixed perfectly. You can hear all the layers.
So really well-produced vocals.
Absolutely. Some harmonies even have this kind of Fintrolian playfulness, recalling that whimsical but powerful folk metal vibe.
Yeah.
While others are described as clinically tight, meaning super precise, complex harmonies, maybe a bit darker, more melancholic, it creates this really sophisticated vocal texture overall.
So even if the music slows down or a riff feels familiar.
Exactly. The vocals constantly lift the songs, keep you hooked. They give the whole album this consistent emotional core. And the production overall helps too. Everything feels carefully placed, every acoustic strum, every hand drum hit. It builds this rich, atmospheric sound that just wraps around you, making all the different parts feel connected. Okay, so pulling it all together, what's the final verdict on Edsvuren? Looking back at our mission, does it manage to celebrate 30 years with a massive bang? Or is it something different, a more understated maybe, but still meaningful anniversary statement? Well, connecting it all, the general vibe from reviews is that it's seen as a fantastic album, genuinely well-balanced in what it sets out to do. It definitely offers more acoustic moments than the last album, and the violin playing is just extensive, grandiose.
So the folk side is stronger.
Yeah, increased folk intensity, for sure. And the way that contrasts and harmonizes with the heavy parts creates a really atmospheric experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling it the strongest Månegarm album since they joined Napalm Records back in 2013.
Wow, that's high praise, especially this far into their career.
It really is. Shows they're still vital.
But you mentioned a nuance earlier. Something about it being easy to like, but tricky to love. Can you unpack that a bit more for us?
Sure, the easy-to-like part. That comes from the clear strengths we talked about. The heavy tracks are vital, energetic. They absolutely remind you why you got into these guys.
Right, the fire.
And the folk songs are genuinely brittle and beautiful. They add real character, real variety. You can easily pick out individual tracks and just appreciate how well-crafted they are.
Okay, makes sense. So the tricky to love part.
That comes back mainly to that problem of proportion we discussed. The overall balance does lean pretty heavily into the mid-tempo stuff, the rock feel over blast beats, and the acoustic folk music.
So the pacing issue again.
Yeah. That pacing, for some listeners, especially those craving that constant black metal intensity, might leave Edsvuren feeling a little low on bite. It's a very comfortable album, warm, perfect for celebrating a long legacy. but maybe not one that consistently delivers the searing heat of their early work.
Gotcha.
So circling back to our metaphor, Edsvuren may not spark a new Månegarm's flames, but it tends the embers, keeping them warm enough for fellowship, beer, and song. It's an album that invites you to settle in, appreciate the sustained glow, not just the initial blaze.
Nicely put. So there you have it, our deep dive into Månegarm's Edsvuren. What a fascinating look at an album that celebrates 30 years by really carefully balancing where they came from with where they are now.
Yeah.
That blazing fire alongside a comforting, sustained glow. It really feels like a testament to a band that gets the art of sticking around.
Which I think raises a pretty interesting question for you, the listener. In this music world that changes so fast, bands pop up, disappear, genres shift. What does it actually mean for a band to be a standard bearer after 3 decades? Is the real goal to just keep trying to reignite that original blazing fire, always chasing youthful aggression? Or is it maybe about mastering the art of tending those embers, creating a warm, sustained glow that evolves, matures, and maybe offers a different, deeper kind of connection over time? Something to think about as you listen to Edsvuren for yourself and figure out which Månegarm fire resonates most with you now.